All right, here we go. We can. No, nothing was being clicked off stream. Nothing. Quick, hide there. All right, so let's go. You guys are so not you guys. You Neil are standing there before the creature when all of a sudden it is just kind of like looking at you. It's giving you that look like it's going to eat you. The whole time you're like controlling your breath consciously, staying calm consciously. Like it's not like fuck this guy. It's like no, you are keeping yourself in the moment, keeping yourself prepared. But also you have your sword in your hand, and the sword is, well, it knows what this is. It knows what this thing is capable of, and it's thirsting to kill it. But that's not why you're here, is it, Neil?
Welcome back.
It does nothing.
We've called you back for a reason. I wish to bargain with you. Before you dismiss any offers that I may make, I assure you that the deal will be sweet, far greater than you would hope to get otherwise. Of course, if not, my friend can send you back to that, he looks towards the portal, lovely hellhole you have there.
You're already in breach of contract. Your soul and that of your companions already belong to me. You are bargaining from the bottom of a very deep well, boy. So, I will entertain your thoughts, but know that you're already mine. Even if I haven't had the opportunity to take you, you will come to me in due time.
Ask yourself this. If you have a set of scales, and on one side you have 3 souls, on the other you have several thousand, what would you think? He looks towards the ghost.
Towards the ghost, you said? The demon?
Yeah, no, the ghost.
Oh, gotcha.
He's estimating the souls contents in the slime.
Oh, towards old man, young man.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. He shrugs and says, I couldn't even begin to count how many that is.
Tell me, which way do you think the scales tip?
Not knowing the reference that you're making, because he just happens to be in another plane of existence while this was talked about in the past, he says, depends on the souls involved, but generally speaking, many far outweighs few.
They're ancient mole. They've been in this world for an awful lot longer than I and my friends have. They're defenseless, simply souls floating in a form of magical ooze. A lot easier to get to than us, I should think.
He thinks for a second, and he's like, are you referring to souls that have been lost here for many years?
I am.
I do not know this area that you're from. I've only just barely begun to walk in this world recently, in the years that would matter to you. These mole that you speak of, I don't know this race, but you're saying there are many thousands of them, and they've been in anguish for a long period.
Their race was, for lack of a better term, destroyed through their own failures. They cursed themselves and this land.
Where are these souls? Think of their location. And then quicker than you can react, he just kind of like attacks out at you, like lashes at you. I'm just going to make an actual attack roll really quickly because obviously your character would just like instinctively go to defend himself even if flat-footed. Okay, that's not what I meant to do, but that's fine. That works. Actually, I fucking rolled a natty 20. So I definitely hit you. That's hilarious.
Oh my god.
Wrong modifier.
He's like grabs you by the neck.
He says, think of where these souls are, and then like a leech reaches out and is like, Argh! And like right as he grabs you, all of a sudden you can feel the ground rush up to meet you. Oh, it is so fast. Like literally just all of a sudden, poof, like you smacked into the ground, except you're not flat into the ground. You didn't actually hit it. Instead, you just appeared somewhere else, someplace else. You felt this feeling once before when you held onto a ring, and oh, you remember how it felt onto the ring, and just even thinking about how dizzy it made you before, while it's making you dizzy now, kind of quintupled the dizziness, and you're literally swooning where you stand, trying not to fall as you just jumped who knows how many miles to be standing adjacent to the river. But not adjacent to the river where you were just a couple days beforehand looking at it, because the guilt that Raven has of the conversation, because the guilt Raven has of what it is he's even willing to do, he's actually standing adjacent to the river just outside of the cave, where it is that you first discovered where the slime was, how it is that you guys kind of broke free going through that other creature and like through that little almost like extra dimensional tunnel space thing. You happen to be standing next to the river there, and this is where it's thickest. This is where there is the most slime. It is literally like you can cut out a cube of jelly on top of where the river is. There is no water slightly rushing over it here. And that's for the span of the river. And you see it, and again, you're just like swooning and dizzy and whatnot, as it's already walking past you and towards the river and kind of like reaching down to scoop up some of the goop with one of its like elongated nails, like bone nails under its body. So he just kind of like scoops it and just kind of like, as his alien's like tongue kind of like comes out, wraps around his finger and like pulls it off, and you can see him tasting it. And then he looks back at you. And if it wasn't for the fact that he was already a creature of bone, the smile he gives you already would have been unnerving, but now it's just downright evil. He looks at you and says, "You wish to bargain for a sea of souls in exchange for yours."
Not just our souls.
And you kind of like center yourself and are coming down again.
Not just our souls. I want you to give us our souls back. Relinquish the previous contract. Make it null, make it void in its entirety. I also want information and 3 further boons at my request.
You wish me to be sitting on a leash for your beck and call?
These souls belong to me and my kingdom now. We are the successors of the mole. You don't have any more right to them than you do to a fly buzzing around a shit.
You say that, and he takes a few steps forward and say, "Do not forget, boy, that if these souls belong to you, in a short time,
They belong to my kingdom.
and
Whether
your
I am
kingdom will
alive
fall."
or not does not matter. Would you rather wait 100 years, 1,000 years? How can you fathom how our mortal kingdoms work when you could have them now?
He thinks, looks back at the Sea of Souls, looks back at you and says, "I will not come at the tug of a leash. However, within reason, and I decide what's reasonable, I will acquiesce to this deal. You will be given," he says, "you will be given an imp. It will be your servant. Ask it things and leave me be. Only call when you need fulfilling."
Very well.
Or closet, whichever one's lawful.
Yeah. I think it's imp. I think imp's devil, closet's demon, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, one of those two. Go ahead. Yeah, I think it's imp. It is imp. Yep,
And there
you're
is
right.
one final criteria.
You're starting to get on the nerves.
It's a very small thing to ask for one with such great expanses to roam. You will not enter Idir unless invited.
as long as you and your companions live.
As long as me and my companions live, and you have no doing with our deaths, then yes.
He thinks for a few extra moments, and then nods. And will step forward and reach out its hands to grasp yours.
He will grasp and he will say, if you break the deal, I want your true name.
He laughs as a contract is already appearing next to you, seeming to both weave into existence and letters are scrawling down it as it's doing so, and says, it's always good to want more. And says, gestures towards the contract for you to sign. Same as before, it wants a little sampling of your blood.
So just to confirm, obviously, because you read a contract before you sign it. This contract...
Oh, it's written in devil talk.
Translate it then. Come on.
Come on, paper. Translate.
He like goes to start reading it and then like looks at the Bone Devil. Is there any chance that I could get a copy of this in Tasian?
He nods. Like a book appears in front of you, as opposed to the simple contract that's written over there.
I guess I'd read through the. I mean, legitimately at this point, I'd read through the entire thing. But I might have
intermission.
I can open close it. So the main contract says that he gets all the souls, which removes the jelly.
Part of it, yeah, to at least which would break up the jelly. But that wasn't written as he has to remove the jelly. That was just written as yeah. Okay.
He will get the souls, and in return, I get the services of an imp, and we get 3 boons, which are nondescript, and both parties must decide that they're reasonable. Correct?
Correct. Well, he said he gets to decide if it's reasonable. You can argue with him, but that's future dates. And,
yeah, right. But if I don't accept that it's reasonable, then the boon hasn't been fulfilled.
You also imagine that he's not going to want that sitting around for forever anyway. Somebody wants it lingering. Fulfilling means it's done, you know.
Yeah. And he will not enter Idir while any of us live.
Okay. Yep. All of that. Yep.
And will not have any involvement in our deaths. In terms of speeding.
If he has involvement, then he can't enter Idir.
Make sure Idir or Valoran.
Well, Idir, Valoran, same.
Well,
they're both specified.
Just in case.
Well,
I agree with
that. Valoran wasn't specified, but the only reason why that would ever matter is if Valoran expands beyond Idir's borders.
Exactly, just in case.
That's a happen since you guys will have to deal with in the future.
Whatever.
But so anyways, so he agrees to all these things. You guys, as soon as you kind of like read through, he waves his hand and it flips to the pages of pertinence where it is that you kind of like want to see the important. Because the other stuff is a lot of hodgepodge and blah 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 blah. It's also a lot of recording of the souls of the people that are being taken, which you don't care about most of that, right?
Yeah, I don't want to read that. He doesn't need that.
Yeah, exactly. What? Neil? What? His name is Neil? Val's a cheat? What?
Wait, is that Scott? He's 53?
Moving on. Not 53! Not even in my 40s. I'm not even in my late 30s. One might argue I'm in my mid-30s. I would disagree with them. So moving on. You sign the contract, and more or less as soon as you sign the contract, but this time less quickly as before, but he does reach down and grab you, and once again, you hit the ground so fucking hard. It gets you like reeling. Do me a favor, make me a will save.
I'm rolling so well this session. Oh wait, did that not go through?
No! Okay.
I'm rolling so well this session. That's actually significantly better.
That's fine. So you when you hit the other side, you start feeling a dizzy feeling. This is just kind of like you realizing last time I thought of the previous teleportation, it fucking made it worse. This time you literally just try to think of anything but the fact that you just transported. You try to think about where it is that you're appearing in, which is where you were standing inside that like building just prior to blah 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 blah. You being teleported the other direction. And once you kind of like focus your mind on where it is that you are appearing rather than where like anything else, it allows you to center yourself so much better. You actually almost feel like you're starting to get your sea legs. You know what I mean? Like you're like, whoa, I got this. Okay, I'm good. Like it takes only a couple of seconds to get your bearings again. Anyways, and the old man, young man ghost is still standing there like with his hand out, holding that like magic circle, keeping the waves upon waves of whatever those creatures are from coming through. And he looks at you and says, "Did you come to a deal?"
We did.
The bone devil turns its head towards the portal and hisses something. Once again, you don't understand what it is that he's saying, but he hisses something. And then immediately what appears before the portal is a small flying creature, an imp. You're familiar with what an imp looks like, correct?
It's red, it's got a little scorpion tail, it's got wings and little hornsies.
Yep, little hornsies, exactly. Literally looks like a little devil. And it's small, being like about as tall as a cat is, right? Literally imagine a cat with wings, and there you go, an imp. They're about as demonic too. So it appears, and then just at the beckon comes flying through the portal, and says, and it literally just says to him in a language that, again, you know, it says, pointing at you, and the imp like looks at the bone devil, then looks at you, and then gets this like horrible, like horror face and disgust, and then looks at the bone devil again and starts to say something back, but the bone devil just quickly reaches out and flicks the thing in its head, and it starts like spinning as it flies over and smashes against a wall. And the bone devil looks back at you and says, "I'll be needing my servants to accomplish this," and gives you again a very devilish smile, as all of a sudden it looks towards the portal and tons of those goopy things start pouring in to where like the area where you're sitting there, like, oh shit, and you start like backing up as they're pouring in. But literally as they like a good group of them, about 24 or so pour in, he reaches out and touches one, and it like chain touches all of them, and they're all just gone, as you imagine they're appearing somewhere down by the riverbed.
Oh no. Oh, this is not good. Oh, this is bad.
The old young ghost looks at you, Neil, and says, "Well."
Looks at me, Rayron. Let's not shoulder me with this guilt. Jesus.
Looks at Rayron and says, "Well, did things go according to plan?" And you hear from across the room in Perrin being responded, "Not exactly."
Is that the imp?
Correct.
He is unhappy.
When you are thinking of your response, hearing him say that, you hear the imp, and you probably think of a fun little quippet to say, but then it's lost. As you yourself, continuing on this emotional roller coaster, also become lost. Deep within a part of yourself that now sits outside of your body, you feel sad, disappointed in yourself, horrible amounts of guilt coming from the sword. It has a spark within itself of heroism, of being a true hero, there to help the people. But it now knows what it is that holds that blade, and the decisions it's willing to make, whether it be for good or for bad. And you can just feel its horror and disappointment as it realizes who it is that it serves. It kind of regresses back into itself. Not entirely, you still feel it there, it's still willing to beckon and come to your beck and call. It's still willing to serve you. It's just disappointed in what it is that it has to listen to. And you hear, hello? Did it go well? Like, are you all right? Seemingly unaware of what you're going through.
I think you'd probably see Rayron go even paler and then sit on the nearest sitting implement or bench or whatever, and he's not really talking to the old man, young man ghost so much as he's still got a hand on the sword and he's like, I did what I had to do.
Yeah. This is going to make things work out better in the end. You're saving tons of lives. More people need not die because of the actions of those in Hardcoin. It was a hard decision, but it wasn't a bad one. The imp actually responds saying, honestly, you did a disgusting amount of good.
I love him already.
I never thought I would take heart at the words of a devil. I think it will take me some time to come to terms with this. I can use the map room to return to our own, correct?
Did you bring a banner?
Well, not per se. But he'd pull out of his bag, he'd pull out a quill.
He shakes his head and says, I'll return back to your home and get you a banner. We'll make this a little bit easier. And don't beat yourself up too hard. We all have our demons that we must face. But what happens is what legacy we leave behind in the end.
Tell me, what was your legacy?
My legacy is being rectified. And he will turn to take a step away, fading from existence, leaving you behind, sitting there on the floor, pale, guilty, sword in hand. And Devil, not too far to your side, looking at you with just genuine, like, how are they so ugly? Why do they look that way?
Love this little guy already.
Yeah. I guess Rowan would wait.
Okay, you say nothing to him. Good. He almost rejoices in the fact that you say nothing. Oh, good. I don't have to talk to us further. And so when you say nothing, he literally starts walking around, kind of taking in the surroundings. About 2 or 3 minutes pass when he returns and he's holding a folded up, a banner of yours from your castle. And he says, you might just need to replace this when you get back home. And he hands it to you.
Just pulled it off the castle.
He'll walk with you, but quietly, out the door, up and over towards the the central area of the castle, like where the door is to kind of come in, and just for a spot for you to hang that from. And I imagine you just kind of go over and do so.
He'd go. He'd and as he's bringing the banner towards where he says to plant it, he turns and he says, "What was your name?"
He looks at you and he actually looks sad and says, I am no longer the person that I was, and I do not accept that who I am. And who I am today does not accept that as my past. I am a new man with a new purpose. I have new goals in life, and I will accomplish them. That's behind me now.
I suppose both of us are changed men then.
Always for the better. Think of those that you aid, and not what has come before. Rejoice in the good. He gives you a pat on the shoulder, and then says, to the map room.
Rowan would turn to the imp. I cannot have you appearing as such. Can you go invisible?
I don't
What are
think-
you?
I don't know if your character knows that they are capable of doing that. Because you guys haven't
No,
encountered
no,
anything
no,
yet.
no. He doesn't. He legitimately, he's. I
Oh,
don't
no.
know what he does. I'm
Oh.
like, can he turn invisible? Can he take the form of an animal? I don't know.
You say, can you go invisible? And you say, Farmville, what can you do? And you literally see from the tip of his tail start to fade from view, all the way down to as soon as it hits his buttocks, goes down, his legs fade, all the way up to his chest, his arms and hands fade, and it's literally just a head sitting there and says, I'll be around. I'll be listening. Don't worry. Let me know if you need anything. And then
And what?
invisible.
And what should I call you?
You hear a whisper from near your ear, a little closer than you like, but not so close that you might necessarily be able to hit it. Call me Master if you'd like.
Very well. I think we can find a fitting name for you, Pawn.
You hear a little bit of like it did not like it. And he says, Phaedril. Call me Phaedril.
Adriel it is.
And so you are going to make your way to the map room. When you look around for him again, he's gone. Not the imp, but the other as well, leaving you seemingly alone.
You better hope someone's watching the map room.
He'll place the banner.
Oy vey. So you are going to start going towards the map room, and with that, we're actually going to cut back the other direction towards the other two boys. I actually think that before we kind of like do that, because it was such a heavy moment, why don't we actually take like a super quick little break, just kind of like break this up in our minds really quick, and why don't we take like a 3-minuter, and we'll be right back, okay? All right, yeah, we'll do that. All right, bye.